Hello, I'm La Flaca Tarot. Welcome to my Abundance and Manifestation Tarot reading for the month of December. Let's remember that I do 3 readings per month with a therapeutic and evolutionary approach in English on Mondays. So this means that the previous 2 readings are already published, the general reading and the love and relationship reading. And remember that the readings of this month of December are focused on the 9-year cycle we are ending this year of 2025. So the questions are precisely focused on what we need to release and what we need to close regarding this 9-year cycle that is ending in order to start anew in the next 9-year cycle that is beginning in 2026. So let's move on to the shuffle. With the Quantum Oracle, let's draw. The first part is what we are releasing from the cycle of these last 9 years in relation to the manifestation of abundance. We got friends and colleagues in reverse and travel upright. The second part is what we are living in December as we are ending this year. We got courage upright. And the third part is what opens up for us in the upcoming year. We got commitment in reverse. Then let's draw a second layer of meaning with the tarot regarding those oracles that just came out. We got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Swords upright for the 9-year cycle ending. We got 8 of Cups in reverse for December, and we got 3 of Swords and the Queen of Wands both upright for the upcoming year. The bottom of the deck, which represents the overall energy, we got 10 of Swords upright and the Sun in reverse. And the final advice we got embracing with the Sacred Destiny Oracle. So the purpose of this reading is to reveal to ourselves the main source of energy leakage in our life this past 9-year cycle that we are ending this year. So the overall energy that came up for us is the 10 of Swords as a minor arcana and the Sun in reverse as a major arcana. So every time we close a cycle, every time we begin a new one, we inevitably raise our level of consciousness and therefore elevate our level of experience. When we have experienced certain difficult situations like trauma, or when we let open loops in our life, as a result we have energy leaks where our creative energy dissipates. This is the same energy that could otherwise be directed toward manifesting a full and prosperous life. Energy leaks are goals we set but we never fulfill, leaving them open. Energy leaks are conflicts. Energy leaks are promises we make but do not keep. Even things as minimal as items we accumulate at home and never declutter. Clothes we no longer wear and never give away. So if we do not consciously and energetically practice closing those energy leaks, then they simply continue to drain away our manifestation fuel. The 10 of Swords tell us that we are going through a time of great lack. We are feeling pain, suffering, confusion, even anguish. It is as if we were hitting rock bottom. And this may be due to several things. And since this is a general reading, take what resonates and discard the rest. For some people, a relationship is causing this pain. Perhaps for some, there is an issue of feeling betrayed, which is generating a lot of suffering. For others, there is a situation in which they do not know how to face the challenges that are arising at this moment. And if we now relate this to the other card that appeared, the Sun in reverse, this is also saying something important, because it first indicates that there's something hidden, something missing, that we do not have complete knowledge of the whole situation. And since we lack that full understanding, we do not know what to do, how to move forward, or where to go. This is what is causing the general confusion of the 10 of Swords. And because we are speaking of a major arcana, the Sun in reverse is postponing a harvest, delaying a success, and therefore also delaying the light one experiences when manifesting a very significant personal achievement. That joy of manifestation, which impacts everything else in our lives, is being postponed in this case. It is not happening right now in what remains of the year. And this is also generating the general pain of the 10 of Swords. Let's move on to the oracles that represents the main source of energy leak that we have experienced this past 9-year cycle, because I believe this previous overall energy has a lot to do with this oracle of friends and colleagues that also came out in reverse. This represents the main source of energy leak that must be closed in order to move forward to the next 9-year cycle. And this oracle could reveal several things. And as I said before, since this is a general reading, take what resonates and discard the rest. For some people, the source of the leak is coming from the impact that is having on us, our relationships with some people not sending us good energy, not offering us support, and in fact, they are being hidden or deceptive because the card appeared reversed. For other people, the source of the leak is coming from the loss of an important relationship, whether friends or colleagues. Such a loss could simply occur because the other person leaves, moves away, or due to a misunderstanding. If it is a misunderstanding, this conflict could be resolved if we honor our autonomy and integrity, as well as we honor the integrity and autonomy of the other person. Just as we are autonomous beings with our own understanding of life and of what we want to do and achieve, so are the other people. And if we want to receive respect and validation for our path as autonomous beings, we must also be willing to offer respect and validation for the paths of others, even if they are different in their ideology of life, the way they act or feel. When we believe we can impose something on another, we are opening the door for that same energy to return to us. In doing so, we open doors for others to think they can impose their ideologies, their paths, or their ways of doing things upon us, creating a loop of disrespect in our relationships. For other people, the source of the leak is coming from a gap where you are distancing yourself from other people. Meaning, this is happening because we are going through a personal or energetic evolution. So we feel that our current experience is becoming too small for us to grow. We want new goals, new desires, new wants, new meanings, and sometimes the people around us fall behind. They may not advance at the same pace as we do, or toward the same kind of goals, values, or desires. So sometimes we must also honor that certain friendships, certain relationships, certain bonds we build with others that we would love to last forever are sometimes only meant to remain in our lives for a period of time and then be left behind so that we may continue our path alone or build new relationships with other people. For others, the source of the leak is coming from the fact that we are isolating ourselves, shutting ourselves in and building walls around us that significantly separate us, and by doing so, we ourselves are also closing the door to the flow of abundance. So this is important. What happens energetically with the flow of abundance? The energy of abundance, the vibration of abundance, is a natural current that always moves forward and always expands. So when we experience lack, we have in some way closed or distorted our connection with that natural flow. We close or distort this natural flow with limiting beliefs, conflicts, or, like in this case, with self-imposed limitations like isolation. The energy of isolation could be related also to the Ten of Swords that appeared in the overall energy, because the Ten of Swords represents the vibration when everything hurts us or affects us, when we feel that any attitude, tone, or word wounds us deeply, and when we are living through a wound, through trauma, through suffering. As this Ten of Swords is revealing, it is as if we have many holes in our energy system, or it is as if our energy is kind of sticky. So when another person triggers us to spark conflict, judgment, or criticism, this is like an arrow that clings to our energy because our energy is sticky, or because this arrow gets stored in the holes of our energy system. So this is why my readings are always focused on revealing what we need to heal, and we need to reveal the truer layer of this pain, because when we feel triggered by pain, this is something important that is pointing to what we need to heal within ourselves, so that our vibration no longer resonates with anything another person might say or do. And when we heal the place within us that wants to isolate, that wants to shut itself away, that feels hurt by everything around it, when we open a healing process and truly heals, we stop resonating from a wounded place and we start to open ourselves. And with this information revealed, we must learn to heal ourselves first before expecting another to change, to act, or to stop acting in a hurting way. Because the other one is autonomous, remember? And our stability cannot depend on whether someone else's changes or does not change. This does not mean that we should continue feeding relationships that do not work with people unwilling to change or grow. Rather, it means that we must first heal ourselves, so we don't repeat this pattern revealed as the source of the energy leak that has been affecting our ability to manifest abundance. You know you have healed when the people around you make a criticism and it no longer bothers you. It no longer irritates you. It no longer generates self-judgment. Because when we heal, we close the gaps that cause the energy leakage and we restore our connection to the flow of abundance. And a beautiful part of healing is that as we heal, we stop feeding the part that is also unhealed in the other person with whom we have a relationship, so that from a healthy place we can establish our relationships and interactions in the next cycle that is about to begin. And the next oracle is truly wonderful because it is closely connected to the energy of the new cycle and is telling us where we are headed. The travel oracle foretells an event. I would say that on a planetary level, this event is the evolution humanity is experiencing. And individually, it is the personal evolution we are living, which will manifest for us as a change, as a movement, a transition from one way of being to another. And because it is a movement, a transit, a journey, an opening here, symbolized by this door, it represents energetically a change in us and on a worldly level, an opening to greater challenges. And this can be expressed in different ways. For some people, it may literally be a trip. For others, it may be a move from one home to another. For others, it may be a change of workplace, shifting from one job to another. And for some, it may be a macro change in their entire life. Relationships change, housing changes, work changes. The point is that there will be movement, and that movement is necessary to bring renewal and transformation into our lives. So if we are open to bring renewal and transformation into our lives, it is also necessary, just as was mentioned earlier, with that reverse friends and colleagues oracle, to close the unhealthy relational cycle with relationships that do not fulfill us, that do not serve us, and that do not help us grow. Because when we close that cycle and step into a new lifestyle, a new job, a new city, a new career, precisely because we have already closed that cycle, we will no longer manifest the repetition of the same experience. In other words, we will not attract the same type of people into our new cycle. If we do not close it, it is very likely that we will continue manifesting the same experience over and over again with the same type of people, because our energy calls in everything unresolved so that it can be resolved. Our energy matches with the same type of cycle we have not yet closed, to see if this time we finally reach resolution. This is why it is so important that these two oracles appear together. Because for that new movement to truly begin again, the new colleagues, new friends, new classmates, new co-workers, new neighbors, new partners, we must close what is no longer serving us. How? If possible, have conversations where you can bring closure, say goodbye, and let each go their own way. If the other person is not open to such a conversation, you can close that cycle energetically within yourself. You can visualize the energetic cord you have with that person you want to release, and imagine yourself pulling that cord out from your energy, and then visualize sealing the gap in your energy as a ritual you can do to release and close the energy leakage with this relationship. So let's see what the tarot is revealing. Two arcana appeared, revealing what is happening and what is needed for change. This Knight of Pentacles in reverse is saying, as Pentacle representing resources such as money, but also contacts, opportunities, and paths that open or need to be opened, covering everything that can lead us to manifest experiences of fulfillment and prosperity. But because the Knight came out in reverse, it may be pointing to a lack of motivation or to the sense that you keep doing and doing and doing, working and working, searching and searching, pushing and pushing, yet receive very little in return, whether that be low salary, few clients, little money, or payments that arrive extremely late. In other words, your manifestation energy is slow, stagnant, blocked, or unbalanced. And what the Queen of Swords accompanying this night is telling us is that we need to make a decision, clear, firm, and aligned with our truth, so that we can cut through what no longer serves us and restore balance to our path. This Queen is also saying that we need to have a conversation, we need to communicate what is not working, we need to express it in order to close the cycle and move forward. And the difference between the Queen and the King is that they both represent a level of mastery corresponding to a different polarity. So in this case, the Queen of Swords is the mastery of the feminine polarity within the sword suit. So this means that we should have that conversation, we should make that decision, because it is about opening a path within us related to this oracle of travel to manifest a place, a space that truly nourishes us, inspires us, and gives us the possibility to manifest experiences that brings us expansion, where we no longer feel judged, no longer feel constrained, no longer feel unappreciated or undervalued. But we need to be the initiator of this path, of this decision, of this conversation, because we stand in the power of this Queen. So the conversation we need to have and the decision we need to make, if it is too difficult to establish this with another person, like a colleague, a friend, or our boss, at least we must have this conversation with ourselves. This means we need to do something called parts work, where the part that is empowered, that wants to change, that wants to bring something new, can speak with the part that feels fear, distrust, insecurity, or confusion. And through this inner dialogue, we reach consensus between those inner parts, or we uncover matters that are important for us, perhaps revealing what lies behind the distrust, the indecision, or the fear. So we could open healing processes around the information revealed, to flourish and to turn the energy of this major arcana, the sun, upright and reach its harvest and success. Because if the sun appears, this means this energy is present as a potential and is only being postponed until the next cycle that begins in the coming year. So let's look at the oracle for this December that we got, the oracle of courage. This oracle is a card of energy. So we see here a knight embarking on a journey through a dark forest. This means that we need to start a journey with courage, because all of us fear change, all of us fear leaving our comfort zone, all of us fear starting something new, whether a new job, a new project, or a new venture. But it is necessary to cross that forest. This means it is necessary to navigate that fear and begin something despite it. We cannot wait to feel ready before starting, because we will never be fully ready. Fear will always be present because it's a natural vibration in this plane. So courage is telling us that it is necessary to take risks. So if we have been thinking about venturing into a change, opening something new for us, this oracle is telling us that this is the moment to do it, to face that fear, to summon courage. Because there is a challenge waiting for us to take the leap, to open that door we spoke of earlier. And that challenge is about expressing in a public way our interests, our passion, what we want to do and achieve. So this is very interesting because, as we saw before, these past 9 years have been marked by isolation or by the fear of showing ourselves as a protection mechanism. So the message is clear. Now it is time to show ourselves, to reveal our talents, to step forward with proposals, to believe that we have a voice, and that voice must be expressed in a public, open way. A new energetic cycle is foretold for us, but for that cycle to open, we must take the first step. And the Eight of Cups that came along this oracle is saying that it's necessary to let go of something, something that no longer works, something that has become monotonous, something that has gone flat. And because it is in reverse, this is showing us that we have a fear regarding leaving behind this situation. But we need to do it because it is bringing a sense of emptiness, because these cups are upside down. And this means that our manifesting energy is leaking away. Therefore, some paths must be closed so that new ones can be opened. We must dare to take risks, and those risks will look different for each person, but they are essential for renewal and expansion. For some people, it will be a new job. For others, believing in their own projects and starting them. For others, beginning to study something new, something different, even changing careers. For some, it will mean opening a new stage with their partners, or ending a relationship and opening a new stage with themselves. Each person will see where they want to go, but the common thread for everyone is to step out of isolation, release what no longer works, close what no longer serves, so that it no longer drains our energy and we can move forward to the next 9-year cycle. So let's move on to the cards for the coming year. We got the Oracle of Commitment in reverse. This is an event oracle. It's telling us that this journey that is opening, this change that is beginning, is originated by something in the external that will happen. And this oracle is repeating the message portrayed by the previous cards, meaning the releasing of relationships that have become a source of an energy leak, so that the new cycle can truly unfold. For some, this may involve the dissolution of a contract, whether a marriage contract or a work contract. For others, this suggests that if we are expecting to sign a contract, it will not happen at the beginning of the year, or if we are awaiting a legal outcome, that outcome will not be in our favor. However, the surrounding tarot cards are telling me that this release, this breaking of this contract, this separation, it is necessary. As the Three of Swords is saying, what is breaking apart will cause us pain, suffering, confusion, or anguish. But the Queen of Wands, upright, alongside this Three of Swords, what the message combined is saying is that what must be released, broken, or closed, it is necessary no matter how painful it is. So we can flourish in the power of the Queen of Wands. As the Queen came up upright, this is showing us that this painful release is the gateway to our empowerment, our fire, and our expansion. So we can open paths that truly fulfill us, paths that ignite us from within, because we are speaking of the wands, and wands are the energy of creative fire. So this means that we can finally align ourselves with relationships or work environments in which we truly feel valued, in which we feel illuminated, in which we feel elevated. For example, this energy of the Queen of Wands allows us to manifest new clients, new projects, new work opportunities, or new relationships where we feel we are in our element, in our energy flowing, where the work flows, and even though we face some difficulties, progress is made and the projects turn out successfully. Or where we build a strong service portfolio, where clients are abundant. So the door of success and the expansion of our creative fire is available to us next year, to the extent that we allow ourselves to close what needs to be closed, break what needs to be broken, and say goodbye to what we need to release. So all of our energy, all the creative fire of that Queen of Wands, and all the inspiration of that Queen of Swords could flow without obstacles and without being drained or wasted. Therefore, it is necessary to let go. And what is important here is that when we postpone that release, sometimes life forces us into situations where we will have no choice. Then, for example, circumstances arise where the energy becomes so saturated that we finally make the decision, or another person makes the decision for us. So, for example, we may be removed from the job or the relationship that no longer serves us. The point is that it is foretold that this rupture must happen in order to begin something new, something better, and something more expansive. And now let us look at the final advice that came from the Oracle of Sacred Destiny. We got embracing. So this aligns very well with both the sword suit cards that appeared earlier, the 3 and the 10 of swords, meaning the suffering and the confusion. Because this Oracle of embracing is telling us that sometimes life fills us with emotions that can be unpleasant and that can pull us out of our center. However, this discomfort or unpleasant sensation is actually seeking to show us things we have not yet seen in our lives. It shows us the relationships that do not work, the people who do not nourish us, or the jobs that are not expansive. And without that sense of discomfort, without those difficult emotions, we will not move from where we are, nor will we open more expansive, more nourishing paths. So what this oracle is saying is that it is necessary to vibrate in acceptance of those difficult emotions, of that discomfort, and through that acceptance to open a healing process. Also, this is saying that here is something hidden, something deeper. A possibility is opening for us to access more nourishing options, whether in relationships or in work, but this lies beneath the surface of the matter, and it is not yet evident. So you may not see those options yet, but they are foretold. What is being asked of us through this entire reading is that the great expansion destined for us, physical, energetic, and spiritual, with prosperity and fertility, comes when we open ourselves to change and to the discomfort that change will bring, to open the necessary release that allows change to happen. If we accept that release and accept the temporary discomfort of letting go, we make the flow of change move more gently for us and progress more quickly. And at the end, we will open a path of expansion for ourselves in the next 9-year cycle that is opening in 2026. Please remember to leave a comment, share my content, subscribe to my channel and my social media, Facebook and Instagram. It costs you nothing, just a click, just an emoji. But it helps me a lot because it allows the algorithm to show me to more people. And if these readings help to bring you any clarity, you are welcome to donate whatever you wish via my PayPal, La Flaca Tarot. You will find the link in the description below. Remember, you can find these readings in the English playlist on YouTube, so you don't get confused, cause I also do readings in Spanish. And see you in the next year in the General Tarot readings for the month of January and the next 9-year cycle. We will start in 2026. Bye bye, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!